Yes, we talked a lot about manipulation on this channel from major whales, corporations, governments, central banks and major institutions that control the price movement of Bitcoin, but most importantly control your mindset, because during this major dump phases, and we have talked about exactly that in the previous video, that this is a golden opportunity to enter the markets in this reaccumulation or accumulation or major consolidation phases of Bitcoin, and I'm going to show you the exact game plan from the major whales, call them institutions, that are manipulating the price movement, but most importantly all the retail investors that invested exactly at the top. And we're going to look at this exact manipulation because exactly 1 year ago I made this video, Wyckoff is back, and exactly in these regions, guys, this was the ultimate bottom for Bitcoin, round about the 16,000 US dollars, but ultimately, guys, this was the accumulation schematic of Wyckoff, and we're going to look at exactly that, because yes, if we go over to the daily chart of Bitcoin, I can see that exactly this is going to happen. And if you want to find out more, watch the video until the end, smash up the like button and subscribe, and we're going to start directly on the daily chart of Bitcoin, because yes, we can see that exactly in these levels we have the 200 moving average. This is going to be extremely important, that we're going to see the price movement of Bitcoin come back above this line, because if we're really going to zoom in exactly towards these levels, we can see a lot of volatility exactly here. And yes, guys, we can see this major volatility is also going to cause a lot of capitulation and this maximum pain, this last dump before this major correction towards the upside, because ultimately, guys, we're going to find out exactly what we could expect and the next move from the major institutions and the major whales. But first of all, let's look at the important levels, because exactly here, round about the levels of 55,800 US dollars, we got our lowest weekly close, and the weekly candle closed exactly here. But we can also see on the price movement for Bitcoin that we formed this double wicks towards the downside, and ultimately, guys, this gives us the indication that here's a lot of buying pressure, and yes, maybe we're going to come all the way back down to this next major liquidity zone, which is exactly here, in between the levels of 53,000 and all the way down to the 50,000 US dollar level. But ultimately, guys, this is going to mark the bottom, because yes, I'm going to reveal the secret and the major game plan from these major whales accumulating Bitcoin exactly here, where you should also be accumulating not only Bitcoin but crypto in general, because this is just the accumulation phase. So let's go over to Wyckoff. Richard D. Wyckoff lived from 1873 to 1934. He is considered one of the fathers of technical analysis. The Wyckoff market theory is one of the biggest theories of the financial market, like the Dow theory or the Elliott waves, that every active trader should understand. Wyckoff started his career as a stock exchange marketeer until he became head of his own company. And yes, we're going to focus on the Wyckoff accumulation schematic, which is also called the composite man. Wyckoff saw all the reason the price is moving as one composition. For that, he created the term composite man. Today, most of the people are speaking from market makers, which has the same foundation. Instead of analyzing each big investor like hedge funds, commercial banks, central banks, whales, which actually are major institutions, or even central banks or major hedge fund companies like BlackRock, we are combining all of these for like one big operator that drives and manipulates the market. It isn't any secret anymore that the large operators are manipulating the markets and seeking public liquidity. And yes, this is exactly what I've been talking about, that the market makes the most amount of money most of the time. And we can see that this schematic was created in the 1900s. So yes, guys, this shows you that the accumulation phases and the major manipulations are real. We are seeing these accumulation phases, like I also showed you in the video that I made exactly 1 year ago, where the price movement formed this bottom and was exactly in these ranges. And I told you exactly here that this is this Wyckoff accumulation pattern. And as you can see, this major accumulation phase perfectly worked out. So let's go over to the fact. We can see that at the bottoms we are forming this accumulation phases in the oversold territory, where everybody is dumping their coins and nobody is interested in crypto. Exactly at the bottom, exactly here, this was the ultimate bottom for Bitcoin, round about the 16,000 US dollar levels. So let's go back, and at the top we are seeing this distribution or this reaccumulation phase. So let's go over to the Wyckoff reaccumulation phase, and we're going to look at the charts and compare this reaccumulation phase with the price movement of Bitcoin. But first, let's find out what is the reaccumulation phase. A reaccumulation occurs during a long-term uptrend, which will continue in the future. The main street is finally on the right side as well. Inside a Wyckoff reaccumulation schematic, buyers are closing part of their long positions and sellers are joining the market, which the incoming selling positions market makers can fill long-term positions again. And this is exactly what we can see on the price movement for Bitcoin, because yes, if we're going to zoom out on the daily chart, we can see that exactly at the bottom we had this accumulation phase for Bitcoin exactly here, where the price movement came all the way back down, formed the swing low exactly here, and then we saw the price movement, so this first initial pump towards the upside and this retest all the way back down. And this is also exactly as I predicted in my video, that we're going to see that the price movement is going to come all the way back down for the second retest. Yes, this wasn't as low as you can see here in the video, but ultimately this accumulation phase worked out perfectly. And yes, this is also exactly what we can see in the reaccumulation phase. Buyers are closing part of their long positions and sellers are joining the market. And that is exactly what we can see for Bitcoin. Yes, we are seeing that a lot of people win some major profits, all the whales exactly from the bottom, where they have been accumulating exactly here. And then we saw that the price movement came all the way up, so they're taking some profits exactly here, called the miners, whales, institutions, or just major Bitcoin hodlers that are taking part of their positions and reaccumulating them exactly here, where a lot of people and the retail investors are panicking because yes, they caused this major pump towards the upside from these new retail investors entering the markets exactly here, close to the top. So let's find out what is going to be the next step. Yes, we're going to look at this reaccumulation pattern. First of all, we can see the preliminary supply exactly here, where the price movement comes all the way up, and we're seeing this first swing towards the upside and this first accumulation phase, and then this major buying climax, followed by an automatic retracement, and afterwards the second retest exactly here with a lower high and ultimately a dump towards the downside with this major spring towards the upside, forming a new high exactly here in phase B, and again this bearish continuation all the way forming a lower low exactly here, and the spring all the way up exactly towards the previous resistance, showing the sign of strength exactly here, and this major continuation towards the upside, because remember, this is a reaccumulation phase during a long-term uptrend. So let's compare the reaccumulation phase with the price movement of Bitcoin. Exactly here on the weekly chart of Bitcoin, we can perfectly see, yes, we had this preliminary supply and this first major swing towards the upside exactly here. As we can also see for the price movement of Bitcoin, we came all the way up to the levels of 49 to 50,000 US dollar level. We had this retracement all the way back down to the levels of 38,000 US dollars, and that we can see exactly here in the Wyckoff reaccumulation phase with this bottom exactly here. And then we had this major buying climax exactly here, which is exactly this point, the buying climax, and then we're seeing this automated retest all the way back down, and the second test all the way up to a lower high, which we can see exactly here. So this is the perfect game plan for the whales, this reaccumulation phase where they're taking profits exactly here and manipulating the price movement of Bitcoin down all the way to a lower low, which we can see exactly here. And yes guys, maybe we are a little bit off. Maybe this is only going to be exactly this level, that this is the automated retest exactly here, that it just took a little more time. But overall guys, this is exactly what we could expect. And ultimately guys, maybe the time horizon is exactly going to be the same, because in the Wyckoff reaccumulation phase, we can see we had this buying climax, and then we can see that the price movement comes all the way back down to form a lower low. The next step is going to be a higher high, a new all-time high for Bitcoin exactly within these levels, and then once again a major bearish trend where a lot of people are going to turn bored again and maybe sell all of their cryptocurrencies that they once again bought exactly at the top, because they didn't use this golden opportunity that we've been talking about in the previous video exactly within these levels. And the next part for Bitcoin is going to be, yes, we're going to form the spring Once again, this major fear in the markets where a lot of people dumped their coins and a lot of whales are going to reaccumulate because they made their profit on this major next move, and once again maybe took some profits exactly at the top where all the retail investors are entering the markets. We're going to come all the way back down and they're once again going to buy the dip, and we're going to get this major spring, this test of this major resistance, which will act as support, and then we're going to see the sign of strength and form a new high for Bitcoin. And yes, this is going to be a new all-time high and exactly the top for Bitcoin. And this perfectly works out with the date that we have at end of October, where we could expect the end of this major bullish run, the end of October 2025. But we've talked about all of this in previous videos, guys. But ultimately, guys, during this major consolidation phase or this reaccumulation phase, as soon as Bitcoin is going to turn around exactly in these regions and come all the way to the mid-range, we're going to see that altcoins like Solana is going to see a new all-time high. Because yes, we may be dumped hard from all the way these levels of $210 all the way back down to the levels of $119. Yes, this was a major dump towards the downside, but if Bitcoin is only going to come to the mid-range exactly here, not even form a new all-time high, we could expect that Solana is going to break its previous high, because ultimately, guys, if we're going to zoom out, Solana hasn't even reached its previous all-time high. So ultimately, guys, if we're going to see that Bitcoin is going to break its previous all-time high exactly here within these levels, after this has been the perfect bottom for Bitcoin and you have been accumulating exactly within these regions, we could expect that Bitcoin is going to break out and form a new high before we're going to see this next phase of this accumulation phase. Guys, we could expect that Solana is going to move all the way from these levels all the way to a new all-time high, or let's be conservative, just all the way to the previous all-time high. This would be a move of 89%. So yes, you're down 40% if you bought the top exactly here. But guys, like I told you in the previous video, reaccumulate, dollar cost average to get your entry price down, because ultimately, guys, this is the beginning of stage 2 of the bull market, and now you know exactly what is going to happen to Bitcoin. We are in this major manipulation phase, because yes, I told you exactly from these levels before the Bitcoin halving that we're going to see the sideways consolidation and this ultimate manipulation. So if you always want to stay up to date, guys, make sure to subscribe and smash up the like button. And if you want to make some awesome profits and copy all of my trades, guys, go down in the video description below, because we opened this trade on Solana. Yes, this is just a small position. We are at the moment up 13%, and this trade was open with a margin of $60. So ultimately, guys, everybody can afford to make these profits, and with my signals that I'm posting in my signal group, guys, you can make some awesome profits, because yes, we are making some major profits and you can join my community. So if you want to find out more, go down in the video description below, where you'll find all the links how to join my signal group. And of course, you can trade all of this on Bybit or even BloFin, where you don't need any KYC. And remember, guys, dollar cost average into Bitcoin, because ultimately, guys, this is going to be the bottom of the range. So don't capitulate now. And if you want to find out more about crypto mindset that you need to have and use this golden opportunity, make sure to watch this video exactly now. And make sure to be for crypto, smash up the like button, and we see each other in the next video.